Good afternoon, my friends. I am so excited to be here. It is Wednesday. It is getting cold again, and the four-letter S word is in the forecast, and we are not happy about it. So anyway, I am still getting used to how Facebook goes live and all of those good sorts of things. So I hope things come in when they're supposed to. So welcome. It is in fact a beautiful day, and we're going to take it, even though I think we have a front coming in. So it's been an amazing morning. I've done some great coaching this morning. Super proud of myself. Super proud of the people that I was working with. And we have lots of good stuff on tap for the afternoon, which is amazing because it's Wednesday, and on Wednesdays, we look at work and the work we do out in the world, and how are we in the spaces where we are trading time or effort for money in whatever ways that shows up in our lives. And so there are lots of ways that we can be thinking about this. And I want to, like how we bludgeon ourselves at work, and with work and with the work we are called to do, I think is a really, really interesting topic. Because a lot of us, we went out and we got training in something or another, and we sought to apply that training and go out and make an impact on the world, right? And that's what a lot of us are trying to do. We're trying to make an impact on the world, however it is that we define it, whether it's, whether we consider ourselves economic migrants, or whether we consider ourselves people who are never going to leave the places that we are right now, where we grew up or were raised or chose to live. And what I find is a lot of people, they want to make an impact in the world. And that's a beautiful thing. It's really a beautiful thing. I want to make an impact in the world. And the question is, how are we going to move in our lives to create that? So when we were looking back over the past month of what we've been talking about, and creating results that we want, we started with truth and thought downloads, and figuring out what the reality was. What are the results that we have right now in our work? Do you have a job? Do you not have a job? That's a result. Okay. And when you have a job or don't have a job, or whatever your job title is, there are things that you think about them, and those things that you think about them create feelings. Those feelings create actions, right? And from our actions, we create our results. And those are the results that you have right now. You have the results of the job that you have, of the way that job is working, of all of the things, right? I have results right now of how my business is working, right? I want different results, and I want to declare different results out in the world. I'll do different things, but I know that I'm not just going to do different things. I'm going to think different thoughts. And what I'm giving you the opportunity to do this week, and based on what we did last week, which was declaring a result. So, results at work are selling more of whatever it is that you sell, getting a promotion, that's a result. Finishing a project, that's a result. Whatever results you're trying to create out in the world. If we come from the premise that our thoughts create our results, what's really easy is to set a goal and not do all of the thought work needed, or not choosing to do it, and hoping for a different result than the one that you already have. You have the results that you have because you're kind of, most people are walking around, you know, we think 60, 65,000, 70,000 different thoughts in a day, okay? And when and we don't know what most of those thoughts are, and they're dropping us into kind of the intentions that we're living in right now that are creating the results that we have. And when you finally recognize that that's what's happening, your very next thing is to try and believe yourself into a newer and brighter future, into unicorns and daisies where everything goes exactly right. Right, creating that future perfect tense. And that's a very human thing to do. Okay, it's very human to do at work because we're kind of trained to do that at work. Like, you want a different result, do different actions. And when all you do is different actions and you don't come from a different thought, you're not going to create a different result. Okay, you're going to create more of the same. And more of the same looks like projects not getting done, you know, you like wasting time on the internet or whatever it is that you waste your time on, like we talked about on Tuesdays. And it doesn't look like whatever results you decided you were to declare last week. Okay. And now is about the time when you're looking around and you're saying, wait, I don't have my result yet. And you start beating yourself up because we have this idea that our results have to be time bound. And sure, some of our results have to be time bound. And if we decide to time bound our results, a lot of them will end up draining a lot of emotional energy. Okay. And you get to decide whether that's how you want to live your life or not. And you may not want to. You may not want to. Okay. And if that's how you live if you decide that's not how you want to live your life, what you do is you try your thoughts on for size. Okay. And I kind of talked about my own journey with trying thoughts on for size yesterday. Okay. And that's a lot of what we've been doing all around here. So what does it look like at work? Well, maybe you have a project that needs to get done. Okay. Because your boss has set the expectation that this project needs to get done. And you want to come from like a feeling of service to the client. It's like one of my favorite feelings, right? And you want to come from a place of service to the client, and that feels like you're going to do all of these actions. But here's the deal, my friends, is you may not know what that actually looks like and how to do that. So what if, to create the result of delighted clients, finished project and delighted clients, if you already knew how to do that and weren't struggling with it, you would already have that result. But you don't, right? Which is why you're watching coaching. And that's what coaching does, right? It's gets us results. And so then what a lot of places will tell you to do is to just believe yourself into a new result. And it just never works out that way. We just don't do it that way, okay? Because it doesn't work. It gets you to a place of a lot more emotional energy and expending your emotional energy and beating yourself up when you don't get the result that you want. Okay. And I find that when people come to me who have done like a lot of abundance mindset work are not manifesting abundance in their life. And it's because they're trying to use willpower, and willpower doesn't work. We spend 80% of our waking lives with the people we work with. Okay. If all we're doing is using willpower to get through the day, no wonder we're exhausted. So your belief bludgeon shows up at the end of the day when you thought you were doing everything that you were supposed to be doing. Like you were believing in customer service and over delivery and picking your target market or landing the funding or getting the bank, like whatever you were trying to believe in. Okay. Your belief bludgeon is its most powerful when you're coming at those actions from willpower alone, right? And a lot of us who are super successful have lots and lots of willpower. And when we don't have a whole lot of willpower, okay, is at the end of the day when we've expended it all doing the actions that we think we are supposed to do. And then we look at the thoughts we were trying to create of, building the business that the universe is calling us to build, which I use in my marketing, right? Because I really believe that's what I help people do is build the business they were meant to build, right? And accrue the wealth and the status and the impact, or not status, the significance and the freedom and opportunity that all brings, because I believe that business brings all of that stuff. It is one of the best things we can do with our time, which is why I choose to spend my time doing it. Right? And we're lying in bed at night, beating the snot out of ourselves because we're exhausted, and and we are convinced that we're doing it wrong. And something is really going wrong here when we have all of those thoughts about, well, where the hell did the day go? And what are we doing? And did I move the ball down the field? And what I want to tell you is one of the things that we started back in March when I was starting all of these daily Facebook Lives is all of those thoughts may or may not be true. And when you're feeling super down and you're building evidence that it's all going wrong, when you keep, and what I mean by building evidence is you are in your own head pointing out all of your failings, right? Lots of very high achieving people are very good at pointing out all of their own failings, right? I used to, when I was falling asleep at night, when I was a kid and a young adult, there would be this litany of everything I've ever done wrong going back to 5th grade, okay? And then to make myself feel better, I would think about all the things I was doing right, or I was gonna do right. Not that I was doing right, I was certainly not thinking about that. All the things that I was gonna be doing right tomorrow, all the ways it would be perfect, how far and how fast I would run, even though I'd never been a runner. That was for some reason that sticks in my head about how I was going to go running tomorrow. Okay, and that's how I would fall asleep because those thoughts made me feel better. I felt so much better after I did that. Okay. And when I did that, I would be able to, it's a self-soothing mechanism, and I'd be able to soothe myself and finally fall asleep. And all of that worked really until it didn't. But what I really taught myself in that was when I'm doing future perfect thinking and thinking about how much money I'm going to make, how many clients I'm going to sign, how far I'm going to run, how whatever, whatever metrics I'm using in my future perfect tense, they don't self-soothe for very long. And when I don't make it, I beat the tar out of myself because I feel like I should be in a place other than where I am. And when we feel like we should be in a place other than where we are, we go back and we try and fix the past, which we can't do, or we try and imagine ourselves from a very different future without actually being in the present right now and accepting how we're thinking and feeling right now. And so if you declared results last week without going and doing all of the other work, that's just creating another action that's going to create the same result that you have right now. And it'll be roundabout now where you're beating the snot out of yourself because it isn't working. And it isn't gonna work, my friends. Not gonna work at all. What works is understanding what you're thinking and how that makes you feel. So when you're at work and you're thinking, I need to do this project, how does that thought make you feel? And my guess is it makes you feel pretty terrible, because when we need to do something, we don't come at it from a place of choice, a place of freedom, and a place of opportunity. We come at it from a place of obligation and a place of feeling like really kind of terrible about it. Or feeling maybe disappointed in ourselves. What are some other ways that I have felt when I need to do this? It's insufficiency, not good enough. And that is your belief bludgeon, okay? You're trying to believe this one thing, but what it actually does is beat the tar out of yourself. Okay, it creates thoughts, or it creates like really terrible feelings. Disappointed is not a great feeling when you're trying to get a project done. Okay, there are probably some times when disappointment is an appropriate feeling, right? Let's see here, if somebody got a promotion that you wanted and that you feel like you did a lot of work for, it's entirely possible that disappointed is an emotion you want to feel. Because you can choose your emotions by choosing your thoughts, because your thoughts create your feelings, right? And when you're coming from need and you're coming from not choosing the work that you're doing, but doing it out of a sense of obligation, you're never going to create the result that you want. And that's a really, really hard place to be. And oftentimes we don't know how to get ourselves out of it. And that's why I'm a coach, right? Is because I help people get themselves out of that, right? And it all happens between your ears. It all happens within your own brain, and recognizing that your belief bludgeon comes from the lower parts of your brain that are there, that are trying to keep you safe, that are trying to keep you protected, and trying to keep you from moving forward, because moving forward is scary. Moving forward is always scary, whether it's by finishing a project or by, serving a client or whatever. It's funny. I was having a conversation with a prospect yesterday, and I was like, I got an end-to-end solution for you. And it's really hard for people to believe, around my lockers and things like that. Like, I got a solution. I really do. And I offer it to them. And it's become really clear over the past 24 hours. The only thing more scary than not having the result that you want is actually having it. The thought of having the result that we want, of making the money, of getting the promotion, of having the family, of whatever it is that you want that creates significance for you, can be really, really scary for a lot of people. What the hell happens when you lose all the weight? Right? I mean, I was super afraid to lose weight for a long time. I thought my weight protected me. What would I do without protection? And I'm dead serious. I really did think my weight protected me. Turns out it didn't. But without that protection, where am I? And that's the change that we're looking at. And that's the change that your brain absolutely desperately does not want you to make. Because where you are right now, it is safe, it is known, it is a known quantity. And if you're willing to move out there into a new space that is unknown and that is scary, and your whole entire brain is programmed to not have that happen. And so you will beat the stuffing out of yourself to make sure that it doesn't happen. And what you can then decide to do is just recognize. One of the most powerful things you can do is recognize when you're beating the stuffing out of yourself. Okay? And I mostly recognize this at night. And I just like, and for some reason it all just sort of clicked with me this week where I was like, oh, right, there are those thoughts. They always come. It's like 5 o'clock at night when I decide to like quitting time, and I go out for walks with my daughter. And what is that? And what does that look like? Okay, when I finish my day and I'm like, wow, I am like super, super done. And I go out for a walk with my daughter, okay, and then I come back and I go upstairs and I get ready for bed super early because I'm up super early. And last night I was writing and I was like, oh, right, 6 o'clock, I'm all showered. It's like we're getting ready to read. Now's about the time where my brain's gonna come in and tell me everything I did wrong today. And if I'm super lucky, it'll tell me everything I did wrong this past quarter and this past year, and I will go and find that evidence. And yesterday I was like, oh, hey, that's right, this is happening again. There we go. I see that. And I literally wrote down in my journal, come on in. I know you're here. Drinks are in the fridge. Grab yourself whatever you want and have a seat on the couch, right? Let's review over what worked today, because I know I'm going to write down what worked today. And then, just like my email said today, if you guys are on my email list, I'm going to go and I'm going to like think about what worked, and I'm going to go do more of that. And I'm going to end up with a whole pile of what worked. But you know what? My brain's going to come along for the ride. And my brain that says, we can't do this, it's all going to hell in a handbasket, it's just going to come along for the ride. And I know that. And nothing is going wrong when Helena shows up, right? That's Helena handbasket. Nothing's wrong when Helena shows up. That's just what Helena does. Okay? And you get out of your belief bludgeon when you recognize that part of your brain, that one part of your brain that is always going to be there telling you, don't make the decision, don't have the conversation, watch Netflix instead of doing your work, go on Instagram instead of doing your work, have the drink, have the cupcake, whatever it is, that may always be there. And what happens if that is the belief bludgeon, okay? Because every time you go off protocol, every time you don't do what you said you were going to do, you delete trust and credibility with yourself that you then have to go and build back up. Well, that's okay. You just go and build it back up. You built it once before, you can build it again, okay? And what if you just know it's always going to be there, and that your propensity is to say no, and that your propensity is to do the things that you that are easy instead of the things that like move you forward, because that happens. And those thoughts are just coming along for the ride. They've been there for a long time. They'll probably be there in the future, and you can deal with it. Whatever comes up, you can handle it, right? What does it look like if that's how you could approach your day at work? Is whatever you could do, you could just handle with those negative thoughts along for the ride, because they're gonna be there, and it's no big deal and nothing is going wrong. And that's how you take a look at it. And that's how you get to a space, right, where you're continually creating your results from a place of belief, believing that whatever it is that you do at work creates the results of customer value. It creates the impact that you want it to create, and that's amazing. All right, my friends, that's what we've got for coaching today. I hope you have a super beautiful day. You are amazing, wonderful people. You are doing so well developing these capabilities, and I am so, so proud of you. I love you all, and I'll see you at noontime tomorrow. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.